Hey, what's up guys, you could Gypsy, and I'm back here today for week 2 of the Draft Premier League. Going to be facing off against Excellent Name this week, and for this game we are slotted into ORAS, so going to be playing Gen 6 Draft again. Haven't played since Generation 7 dropped, so it's going to be a nice sort of throwback to the generation that I think a lot of players got their start in the draft format in. So we are playing in Gen 6, and obviously in Gen 6 there's a no first turn like speed for megas. And you know, T-Wave is 100% accurate, reduces speed down to 25% if you're parried. All these kind of mechanical changes that were different in Gen 7, obviously going to be different in Gen 6. So we are facing off against Excellent Name, a fellow Australian, and definitely a guy who's on the come up. I think he's going to be one to watch out for in the future. If he continues improving, I think he's going to be that sort of like next generation of Australian talent for sure. But yeah, we're facing off against him. He's got a pretty powerful team. He opted to leave Nidoqueen on the bench as well as another one which I forget, but Nidoqueen was the only sort of relevant one, and he brought Gothorita in its place, which is like, it definitely pressures my fat mons like Registeel and Reuniclus, so I've had to kind of build Reggie in a way where it doesn't get trapped by that thing. So the team we have here is Megazam, Protect 3 attacks Megazam. We've got a nice Spit F, Power Punch Rocks Reggie, Belly Drum Azumarill, which is an amazing win condition if I can chip down his Latios and his Keldeo and his Mega Sizzle. And then we've got a Rocky Helmet SD Infernape, Soft Sand Sub Landorus, which is incredible in this game, and then a Spit F Reuniclus, which can pivot in on stuff like Keldeo, get regen, and yeah, scout whatever move Keldeo wants to lock itself into, because it's more than likely going to be specs based on the matchup. So in terms of leads, I expect Excellent Name to lead off with either his Clef, that's his only rocker, or potentially his Sizzle to get his first turn Mega off versus my potential Lando or Registeel lead. It'll make pivoting into Zam much easier for him. But he could also lead Keldeo, because Keld matches up amazingly versus all of my rockers, and it puts him in a really nice spot right off the bat in terms of offense. But I do have a fantastic pivot in Reuniclus, so I'm actually going to lead Lando because it does sort of award me the highest outcome if I can predict his lead right. But he does lead with Keld, and this is okay because I got Reuni in the back who I can pivot into and take this what turns out to be Spec Skull pretty well. We're going to be able to heal most of that off with regen. And I'm going to make the switch out into my Reggie here, as I expect him to make more than likely the play out into Gothorita to trap my Reggie, to trap my Reuniclus, which is a big hindrance to his team. Like if he can remove Reuni, then stuff like Keld and Laddie are a lot more dangerous versus me. And the fact that I made this switch into Reggie here, he may think he's got me trapped, but because I am Power Up Punch, I will be able to sort of get out of this exchange on top for sure. But he's going to reveal Taunt, and I actually am like a faster Reggie. I've got some speed investment, so definitely creeping a sort of min speed Goth, as his Taunt goes second. We get Rocks up, which is going to be really nice for putting things in range of Azu. And the fact that he has Taunt implies that if he is Calm Mind, he's going to be Calm Mind Rest with a single attack. He could also be like Taunt Rest, like T-Wave, and then like a single attack. Either way, he's not going to be Calm Mind 2 attacks, which is important. And if he is Calm Mind 2 attacks, he's not Rest, so he's going to lose regardless. So this is all important information, and this tells me that my Reggie can pretty much beat this Goth regardless, unless he's like Tickle and he PP stalls me or something like that. So he is going to go out into his Keldeo here, as I do just go for Power Up Punch, getting that nice chip on anything that wants to come in. And if he wanted to stay in with Goth, I got the attack raise, so I can start threatening it with Iron Head. But we get a nice 14% off versus this Keldeo, and this is really nice because after another switch of rocks, he's actually going to be in range of EQ from Lando. So this turn I'm going to switch out into my Reuniclus, as I think he just Secret Swords here. Yeah, I'm going to make the mid ground of going Lando here. It covers any play he can really make by him going into Latios, because I easily tank 2 specs Secret Swords, and I threaten anything that wants to come in, a bar potential Latios, because I think can pack Ice Beam for my Lando. So Gonna switch out to Lando here, as we get him as he goes into Sizz, and this turn I'm gonna sub up, expecting him more than likely just to U-turn out, potentially defog, but more than likely U-turn out into something that can threaten Lando. And because I do have a sub up, I get a nice free Earthquake off versus this Keld. and this is going to drop. And Kel is one of the biggest threats to the squad, so having that down early is definitely really nice for us. So I'm going to go into my Reggie here, as he brings in Laddie to comfortably threaten out Lando. And yeah, Reggie's looking nice. I can just click, I think I click Ironhead this turn, as he does go for T-Bolt, and he gets the first turn para into full para, which is pretty frustrating. But Reggie's so fat that I can actually take on this Laddie even with the para. So I'm going to Ironhead here, and this time I'm going to power up punches. I expect him to have the Roost or the Calm Mind or something like that, as he does get the full para once again. And I think this turn I do power up punch here. Yeah, so I power up punch, but Reggie's back. Like, lefty's really coming in clutch on this mon. It's almost back to the amount it was when that exchange began. And I've got really good information off on that Laddie now. I know he's T-Bolt, Ice Beam, Roost, and then he could be Calm Mind, or he could be like a third coverage move, or even like Stab. So now I'm going to go into my Ape on his potential Roost there, but he actually goes for the U-turn, and he's going to be in range now after helmet damage and the next rock switch in of +6 Azumarill's Aqua Jet. So even if he's like max defenses also, that chip is really useful for me there. So he's going to now go back into his Laddie, and I'm just going to go back out to my Reuni, as he actually goes for the Draco and misses. Draco would have done about 30 something percent. He's not Specs or anything. You saw Specs Keldeo doing like 34 with Skull to my Reuni, so that Draco was kind of bouncing off. And actually it would have been nice if he hit, because then I could go into Reggie a lot easier the next turn. But I'm actually going to stay in here in T-Wave. He's revealed all his coverage on Laddie, so I know he's not sub or refresh or anything like that. And even if he does go Goth, I get a T-Wave off, and I force that thing to use Rest if he does have it. So he is going to go into his Goth and get paralyzed, and now this sort of exchange between Reunion and Goth is going to continue on for quite a bit. He's going to get fully parried here, as I'm going to wear him down with a Signal Beam. He gets fully parried again, and he actually is going to reveal the Rest this turn. And this, what this means is that he's Taunt, Rest, potentially Calm Mind. I don't know that at this stage, as now he reveals the Calm Mind. So he's Taunt, Rest, Calm Mind with a single attack. So I'm going to skip through these turns because there is a bit of repetition. He's stalling me out of Signal Beam PP, which is definitely his best play. He wants to get up to +6, but even if he does get up to +6, he can't really do anything versus my team. This Gothorita wasn't designed to sweep or anything like that. I'm pretty sure he designed it to be able to take out my Reuniclus, which gives stuff like Keldeo and Laddie an easier time breaking down my team. So I can definitely understand the bring, as this Gothorita is eventually going to wake up and take out my Reuni with the Signal Beam, and this is going to allow me to bring in my Lando here. And Lando's knockoff, because he's Signal Beam bounces, does like a third of Lando's health at +6. So I'm just going to click knockoff here. It covered really anything. If you wanted to go Laddie, covered that. Obviously Scissor's in range of EQ after rocks anyway, so with knockoff chip he's just getting closer and closer to fainting. So Signal Beam bounces off, and I will be able to knock him out here with the knockoff. So he's now going to bring his Latios, as I'm going to go out to Reggie, and we take the Draco pretty well. Only does 18%. And this turn I think I do double out into Ape here. Yeah, I double out into Ape because the fact that Laddie head clicked Draco, he was at -2. My Ape has a ton of health and some speed up as well. He wasn't clicking Draco again that turn. He was more than likely going out to Sizzle. That was like a prime opportunity for him to roost up, and he really does need Sizzle healthy in order to check my Azu. So we get him there, as he is forced to take another round of rocks, and my Inferno can just fire for Flare Blitz here. As he brings in Clef and reveals this thing to be more Spidef than Fizdef, as that thing took a little bit too much from non-boosting item Flare Blitz for it to be physically defensive. So this turn I'm going to SD, on the off chance that he wants to softball it up, but he just goes out to his Latios here. And I'm going to go back into my Reggie here, as he does just go drop another Draco here. And I think this turn I do make the switch out into my Zam, knowing that if he went Sizzle there, he could Hidden Power Fire, live a Bullet Punch and take that thing out. It would force in Weavile, which Azu could then belly drum up on. And if he roosted up, he was going to get back to full, but then my Zam could just fire for Shadow Ball here. So that is actually what happens. He is going to roost up, as my Zam is going to Mega Evolve and fire for Shadow Ball, putting this thing in range of my Azumarill's Aqua Jet, which is really nice for me. Is Draco at -2 does like 40%, so we take that pretty well. He's going to go out into his Weavile here. And after taking the Shadow Ball, this thing is in guaranteed range of hitting power 5 from my spread, so I don't really need to even protect here, because if he is Scarfed and he clicks Knockoff, he's just going to give Azu free reign to come in and click Belly Drum here. If he's Pursuit, it's the same kind of situation, so I'm just going to outspeed him here and click Hidden Power 5, so he's potentially like a Breaker set, or like a slow, like a slower than my Zam Pursuit there. That's what I assume. I haven't seen his team, but if I would have guessed, that's probably what it would be. So right here I'm going to go out into my Inferno, not wanting to catch a T-Wave, because T-Wave Clef is broken in ORAS, and I want to keep Zam around if I can, free of paralysis, to be able to revenge the laddie if I needed to. So I'm going to go into my Infernape, as he does just click T-Wave, and even though Infernape is T-Waved, I still will be able to pose a pretty big threat to his team. As I do just U-turn out here, I can still check Scizor even with a paralysis. And Lando is going to claim me either a huge amount of damage off on Clef, or a sack on Scizor, or it's going to force in the laddie, which invites back in my my Reggie. So I'm going to go for EQ this turn, as he does just fire off the Moonblast, and he actually gets a max roll there with Moonblast, assuming that he was non-invested Clef. My Lando, I think the roll was like 36 or something to 42, so he got a really high roll there, but Lando definitely did its job. It took out Keld, weakened the Clef severely, and this is going to allow me to bring in Zam right here and just click Psychic this turn, as he does choose to sack off Clef. I don't really think he had another play there. And Scizor is going to come in, and he's gonna scare me out here. I do want to preserve Zam in case I need to click Shadow Ball again versus the laddie, as I do have a really fine switch into this in Infernape, and he's gonna roost up here, I guess banking on the para, I suppose. But I am going to be able to take him out here with Flare Blitz. Even if he went laddie, he would have died to Flare Blitz there from that range of health, so he didn't really have another play there. He had to kind of bank on the para. And Infernape is just going to click U-turn as laddie does roost up. He's obviously covering any play he can really make. If he knocks me out, I just go Zam, like I do here, and just click Shadow Ball for the 4-0 win. So yeah, that's going to be my week 2 game in the DPL. I think our team ended up going 7-1, so we had a really dominant week this week. We were facing off against the large Weens, I think is their team name, and yeah, the boys just piped up, and we had a really dominant one. I think the only one we lost was Big Daddy Dave, and I think he would have had that game if he thought his plays through a little bit more carefully. So we had a really strong week, good showing from the boys, and next week we face DPL's worst team, and they got some strong players in that squad, so that should be a good one. So look forward to that. Obviously more ITL on its way. I'm going to be doing a draft recap of my my team for this Ubers league that I joined. It's actually a Wi-Fi league, and I've drafted a pretty fun team for that. I'm pretty excited to bring that to the channel. So that's going to mix it up with the ITL and the DPL content. So hope you guys are looking forward to that. Drop a like if you enjoyed, and let me know what you guys thought of the game in the comments below. And I'll catch you guys next time.